What's going on, guys? Welcome to another Doctor Who Classic Review. Today I'm going to be reviewing the third Doctor Jon Pertwee story, The Claws of Axos. This is I believe the third story in Season 8, which is Jon Pertwee's second season as the third Doctor. I was quite interested to see this one. I actually got a figure set of this one quite a while ago, without actually knowing what the story is about or seeing the story or anything. So when I finally decided to get the DVD, when I was collecting DVDs, because I got the figure set quite a bit before I was really into collecting the DVDs, I thought I'd get this one relatively early on because, I don't know, it was just, I have the figures for it, so I kind of wanted to see what the story was like. So yeah, this is The Claws of Axos by Bob Baker and Dave Martin. When a damaged spaceship containing beautiful humanoid creatures called Axons lands on Earth, the Doctor, Jo and Unit are sent to investigate. In return for their help, the Axons offer the gift of Axonite, which would end world famine. It all appears too good to be true, so what secrets are the Axons hiding on board their ship? And why is the Doctor's oldest enemy, the Master, involved? So yeah, an interesting little plot on the back there, because it's one of these stories where it actually starts off as maybe these guys are good, they're being helpful, they're being nice, they're giving the humans something in return for, something else of their own. And it's like, it seems relatively genuine, but it's Doctor Who, there's always something going on. And of course that is the case. The Axons end up being, I suppose, evil, invading the Earth, and all that good old stuff. So let's get started with the cast. So Jon Pertwee is the third Doctor. He's pretty good in this one. There's nothing absolutely magnificent, I would say, in this story from Jon, but altogether he's still your dandy, amazing action hero third Doctor, the third Doctor that we all love. And yeah, I mean, like I said, there's nothing, from what I can think, there's nothing massively standoutish in this one. There's some moments with the Master that I think are good, but I mean, Jon Pertwee and Roger Delgado, they're just so good together anyway. It's just kind of, it's just kind of a given that they're going to be great together. They have this really unique chemistry that just is so good. So yeah, Jon Pertwee is very, very good. For the companion, we've got Katie Manning as Jo Grant. Yeah, I'm going to be honest, if anything, I would say that Jo doesn't seem to have a whole lot to do in this story. She kind of does just sit around for most of it. It's just kind of in the background. She follows that guy around, I can't remember his name right now, but she follows that American guy around quite a bit, kind of takes a bit of an interest to him, but apart from that, Jo doesn't actually do a whole lot in this story. So yeah, I was quite interested with that, because from what I've seen of Jo so far, she always seems to have something to do. She seems to be quite interesting to watch, and just a good character. I'm not going to say that she's a bad character in this episode, because that's not the case, but she just doesn't seem to have quite as much to do as I would have hoped. Nicholas Courtney is the Brigadier Lethbridge Stewart. It's worth a mention. He's really, really good again. Yeah, decent amount to do, I suppose. Not a whole lot again, but I mean, he's there, he's with Unit, the usual Brigadier thing. And I suppose I'll also mention Roger Delgado as the Master. Yeah, Roger Delgado is great as the Master. He's the best Master. Even I can say that, not seeing that much of him as of yet. But once again, in this one, he doesn't have as much to do as I would have hoped. Now, he does have quite a bit to do. He's definitely, he's used in the story, but I felt like they could have maybe done a little bit more with him. The whole thing they were going for in this season of the Masters in every single story was a bit silly, although I can't really comment on that too much because I've only seen 2 stories from the season, and since I'm watching them out of sync with each other, it's kind of hard to, go with that anyway. But yeah, Roger Delgado, though, he's very, very good. Alright, so on to the good and the bad, starting off with the good. The Axons ship, whatever you want to call it, is pretty unique and interesting. Yeah, I actually really did like the ship. When it crashed into Earth, kind of just thought it was like some weird meteor at first, but it turns out no, it is the Axons ship, called Axos, I'm pretty sure. And it's got this really weird look to it. It's like a alien mouth. It kind of reminds me of like the worm from Star Wars. Which one is it? I don't know which one it is. Is it Empire Strikes Back? I can't remember. It's one of the original Star Wars trilogy films. With where they go into the mouth of the worm. Do they go into the mouth, or do they just avoid it? I don't know, but you know what I mean. If you've seen Star Wars, you know what I mean. But it kind of reminded me of that, and I just think outside it looked interesting, and inside as well, the ship was fairly interesting. It was nice having a different ship to, your standard kind of just everything's white and clean spaceship that you seem to get in most episodes. So yeah, it was nice to have a little bit of a change there. Axonite being the substance that kind of makes up the axons. Now, I'm pretty sure I got this correct, but originally they said that Axonite was this stuff that they were going to give the humans because it would help them. It would help them in some way. I can't exactly remember how now, but it would help them, make different things and do all this stuff. And it was this really cool thing. But then I'm fairly certain it turns out to actually be that it kind of comes alive and becomes the axons, like the red spaghetti monster looking axons, not the very beautiful looking golden white almost robotic looking axons, the actual like red spaghetti ones, which are an interesting look. Yeah, I'm fairly certain that's what that was about. I think that's a pretty cool idea, something a little bit unique and interesting. Like I said, with the the axons, the red spaghetti ones, I do quite like them. I think they look interesting. Do they look dated? Yeah, they do look a little bit dated. They do look quite dated actually, but they look interesting and I can really appreciate that. It's not just your generic human looking thing, which the Axon kind of humanoid Axons, well they're both humanoid, but the goldy whitey Axons, they're a bit too just human. They can talk, they're just human. Whereas the red ones, yes, they're humanoid, they've got 2 legs, they're a biped, they've got 2 arms and stuff like that, but just the look of them being this red spaghetti looking thing and then having like the tentacles that they kind of shoot out of their arms as well, I just think it was a really interesting and fairly unique design. The Doctor and the Master working together, I thought that was pretty cool. It's always nice to see the Doctor and the Master, interacting like they do. And yeah, I mean, we kind of get this whole thing where the Master wants to take the Doctor's TARDIS because he wants to get the hell out of there. His TARDIS got stuck on Axos. So he wants to take the Doctor's TARDIS. Of course, no, the Doctor's TARDIS isn't working because the Time Lords did something with the time rotor or whatever it was, and he can't leave Earth. So they try and fix it. The Doctor kind of initially, from what I understand, he was kind of working with the Master to get off Earth so we could go back to Gallifrey or just go back to the stars or whatever. And he kind of was working with the Master. Of course, it turns out in the end that he doesn't manage to fix the ship. The Time Lords have, he's managed to kind of have it so that he can now fly off, but it's just going to bring him straight back to Earth again eventually. So he really is still stuck on Earth, but I think the whole thing with the Master, in a way, yes, he was kind of working with him, but at the same time, he always had this kind of thing where he was playing him a little bit. He doesn't trust the Master, he knows he's evil, so we can't trust him completely, and I really like that. I thought that was cool. So when he did kind of trick him a little bit in the end, I thought that was cool. And just some good old Dr. Master stuff. And then finally, the Doctor trapping Axos in a time loop. I thought that was pretty interesting. He doesn't kill them, he doesn't blow them up, he doesn't destroy them. He just traps them in this time loop. They wanted to time travel. This is a big thing that the Axons wanted to do. They wanted to have time travel. So apparently sticking them in this time loop makes it so that they kind of can time travel or something. I can't remember, but yeah, he traps him in a time loop, and I don't know, it sounds interesting, so I quite liked it. So for the bad, I don't really have a whole lot to say here, to be honest. There's not really anything bad about this story to me. The only things I have marked down is that a few of the characters do feel a little bit underused. I said this before, the Master, although does have a relatively prominent thing with, being with the Axons, kind of working with them, but then kind of not. Yeah, he has a purpose there, but at the same time, we didn't need him in that situation. And he very much, like I said, I haven't seen the other stories in Season 8 yet, or a lot of the other Master stories, to be honest. But, if we're thinking of, like, Terror of the Autons, which is one I have seen, he kind of does this whole thing again where he's working with the Autons, but then also kind of isn't. And that kind of feels the same in this, so it kind of feels like he's just got the same story going on. And then obviously, he's there for the whole Doctor and the TARDIS thing, but he doesn't feel that necessary in the story. You could definitely take him out of the story, manipulate it a little bit, and he just wouldn't be needed. Like I said, also, Joe Grant doesn't seem to do a whole lot in the story. You have a very nice presence though, so that's good. But yeah, there does just feel like a couple of characters that aren't really necessary, but that's the only bad thing I have to say about this story. And yeah, so the Claws of Axos, what am I going to rate it? I'm going to give it a 7.5 out of 10. Now you're probably wondering, you've given that a pretty low rating considering you didn't really have anything majorly bad to say about it. And yes, that is the case, but the reason why I'm only giving it a 7.5, by the way, that is still a good score. I consider a 7.5 a slightly above average story. Although I couldn't really think of anything bad for it, there's not a whole lot of good stuff there that can really warrant giving it a higher score. I was thinking maybe I might give it an 8, and you know what, on a rewatch and on a rethink I might give it an 8 out of 10. But at the moment I just thought a 7.5, it's just it's slightly above average. Just because I don't have anything bad to say about it, doesn't mean that it's really, really good, because it just doesn't have that feel to it in a lot of ways. Now this also could be because of the fact that when I watched it I was pretty tired, I actually almost fell asleep through it. Not because it was boring, just because I had a pretty a late night the night before, so I was fairly tired. But yeah, I did enjoy this one. I'd definitely watch it again. Maybe on rewatch I'd like it a little bit more, but I did definitely enjoy it, so a 7.5 out of 10. But anyway, that's going to be it for this video, guys. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed, please go ahead, like and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, the link is in the description, and I'll see you guys in the next video.